Welcome to X1T Gaming, and together we're going to revolutionize the gaming industry. So today I actually worked all day. I had a day off. Today's what, Saturday? I had a day off work, and I did the lab too. Um, yeah, basically I just worked on the lab all day today, and so we're going to have you guys look at it. So I decided to go with the potato counter. So we got all this code right here. It looks like there's like a big white blank screen. So I start from scratch. So this is the camera angle. I'm going to put like maybe like clouds or something and a sky on this picture. So there's nothing there. And pretty much the green things you got to count and the red things you don't count. And so then you go together. And as you see here, we have 9 potatoes or green potato counts going around. You got to count them all on here, and then I'm going to have something that pops up that's going to kind of say like, oh yeah, you got it, or to guess what number it is. um, yeah, and then when you click it again, it has a random number, so it's 13 now is the higher thing, and so it increases or stays the same at random intervals. And you can't click on anything, so I'm clicking right now until everything is destroyed. And so once everything's destroyed, then you click again, and then you go on, and now you see right over here you have 18. Makes it work. And so the red things are going to be stuff there to distract, and you got to count all the green ones. I don't know what's it going to be yet, and you just keep on going. So I just need to have I need to set it so that you have a thing that comes up, a screen that comes up, and it says like how many numbers are in this, and then you click on it, or you do the right one, and then it either says game over if it's wrong, or you go to the next round. And then as you see now, it's at 20 count. And so it just keeps going on and on forever and ever. All the things are fitting in there. I gotta take the shadows out. So actually, I'll do that now because I forgot to take all the shadows out. And so let's see. Shadow cast off, 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 and this one needs to be off as well. So then they don't cast shadows. But then again, I couldn't do that, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But it's always there, so we can see. And then I'll go back here to the spawn manager so we can see. This time it starts off with 12. So always a different random number that people have to go and look through. And so I was thinking about, instead of having intervals for and changing the intervals for a time kind of thing, I just decided to spread them all out as wide as possible. Press again. Oh, there's 19 that showed up this time. Yeah, so every time that you play a new game, it will get more and more and more and more. And yeah, so I'll have to do it for where it starts at the beginning for how many potatoes were there. Oh, 26. This one's growing up by a lot. Yeah, so you gotta count those. Leave in the comments if you think the speed is alright. I might slow it down. I think that speed's pretty good actually. I'm debating if I want to like just keep it the same, or if I want to make the speed slowly go up as it goes on. But really, this counter is going up pretty high. Like that's a lot. I don't see how someone even at this speed could get like 100 with all the distractions. You got to be like a super genius. And then I can always make like an update version where I can do the thing. And then they kind of slide in and out behind each other. I have a little bit of a depth. I could always change that depth right here for the Z axis, so I can make it a little bit more. Oop, that's too much. So let's just put it at 5 and see what happens. Oh, oops. So put this one at 5, and then we click here. Yeah, so it could give more depth. I think I like the 2 better. 5 is a little bit too. Maybe 2 is pretty good because you have the difference a little bit more of a contrast for how the shape looks like, or for the sizes. Because here it's just like a 2D plane, but they look like they're different size kind of things. I also want to, I'll do that later. But yeah, so I worked on that all day today. I started from scratch. I am extremely proud of myself. Pat on the back. Okay, so let's go for the quiz time. Let me just mark all of these as complete because they're just basically saying go and destroy objects and work on your lab. And I did that without actually looking at this thing. And so now we got a quiz, and it should take 15 minutes. And I'll let you guys watch the quiz with me. So you guys can see all my spelling mistakes and my reading problems. Okay, you're trying to write some code that creates a random age between 1 and 100 and prints that age, but there is an error. What would fix the error? Okay, debug log, generate. Okay, wait, let me see if I can see it. So void start. So random, generate random age, generate random age equals random range 1 to 101. Okay. Oh, I wouldn't put this as a private integer. Maybe maybe a private, maybe a void. Okay, change line 1 to private float age. No, it's an integer. You don't need stuff in between. Add the word integer to line 8 so that it says int age. Potentially. To line 7, change the word private to void. That's what I said at the beginning, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be the answer. Let's put add a new line after 8 that says return age. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you got to change the private to, wait, was it private to void? Add a new line. Okay, so you're trying to write some code that creates a random age between 1 and 100. The prints and prints that age, but there's an error. What would fix the error? Do you need a return age? No, because it just needs to show it up once at the start. Private integer, generate random age. Add the word integer to line 8 so that it says integer age. That could also be it. I'm pretty sure it's not 1. I'm pretty sure it's not number 4. I didn't want it to be like a private integer thing. I want it to be like just void this. I didn't want it to be void integer, but it could be that as well. Add the word integer to line 8. No, we don't need to because it's already saying it's an integer over there. I'm going to stick with my gut and stay with that one. Okay, the following message was displayed in the course in the console. Monica has $20. Which of the line options in the print names function produced it? Okay. Monica has $20. So we got starting names. Okay, so you got Monica, Eric, money, 5. Money times equals 2. So it's already saying that money and it's 5, and then you times it by 2. So it's already saying that it's 10 at the very beginning, and it prints a name. And so it says that it needs to say 20. So it's got to be one of these. Okay, debug names log 1 would be Steve. No. I got it. It's B. Because the reason is because 0 is always the first one. It's not 1. one's not the first one. So that's why they confuse you with putting number 2, but this would actually be Eric. So I'm going with B as my final answer. Okay, the code below produces error, cannot input convert type float to unity integer vector. Which of the following would remove that error? Okay, so private vector, starting vector, I would put the equals. I would put this over here. Huh. Okay, let's see. So in line 1, change vector 3 to float. Could do that. Okay, on line 3, change equals to plus. Either A or B, none of the above. Private vector 3 starting velocity. Starting velocity equals 2. I don't know why would you go starting velocity equals plus 2. That doesn't make sense. And changing vector 3 to a float also doesn't make sense. I'm going to say none of the above. Probably wrong, but that's what my gut's telling me. Okay, which of the following units naming conventions, especially as relates to capitalization? Okay, so float forward input equals input get axis vertical. It's the first one. This one has something here that you don't capitalize here that you don't need. This one is capitalized that you don't need, and this one is not capitalized, and you need that to be capitalized. Nor is this one, so it's A. Okay, question 5. You are trying to assign the power-up variable in the expector, but it is not showing up in the player control component. What is the problem? So you are trying to assign the power-up variable in the inspector, but it is not showing up in the player control component. What is the problem? You cannot declare a power-up variable in the player controller script. That's not true. You cannot assign game object type variables in the expector. The power-up variables should be public instead of private. That's probably it. The player controller class should be private instead of public. No, I'm going to go with the game object. The power up variable should be public instead of private. So this one right here should be public game object power up, because the power up is not in the player controller, it's on the outside. Okay, question 6. Your game has just started and you see the error unassigned reference exception. The variable player indicator player controller has not been assigned. What is likely the solution to the problem? Player controller has not been assigned, so we have to click and drag onto the player object. Must be assigned to the player object right there. Do I need to read the other ones? No. No. Wait, an object needs to be dragged onto the player indicator variable in the inspector. No, the player controller script must be assigned to the player object. Okay, you are trying to create a new method that takes a number and multiplies it by 2. Which method would you use? Multiply it by 2. Okay, so we got double number, return number. Okay, so is it a private void or is it a private float? Double number. I'm going to say it's a private float. Or is it a private void with this float number right here? Hmm. Hmm. Because private float double number won't do that. It has to be a void. So it's got to be C or D. And this one doesn't have any number assigned to it, but you're trying to multiply it by 2. So you want the float, whatever the number is, to return the number times 2. I'm going to go with C. I'm only allowed one. No, I only need one right to get past. But I should try to get all of them right. Which comment best describes the code below? Okay, so you got the enemy. Okay, comment. Okay, private void on trigger enter collider. If other compare straight, destroy other game object. So if the player collides with an enemy, destroy the enemy. No. If the enemy collides with a spike, destroy the spike. If the enemy collides with a spike, destroy the enemy. If the player collides with a spike, destroy the spike. Ooh, they made this question a little bit harder this time because they did it both ways on both. But this is the enemy and the spike. So 1 and 4 are out. So now we're just, you collide with the spike and you destroy the spike or you destroy the enemy. You destroy the spike because you have other game object rather than destroy game object. And you have if other compare tag, so it's already established that it's other. So we'll destroy spike. Okay, the code below produces error, cannot implicitly convert type Unity Engine game object to Unity Engine rigid body. What could be done to fix this issue? Okay, so void on collisions enter collision if collisions dot game object compare tag enemy rigid body enemy rigid body equals collision dot game object. I think you need like a rigid body um, to enemy RB kind of thing. So change collision to rigid body. No, change game object to rigid body. Potentially. On line 3, delete game object. Collision dot compare tag. Could do that. Add line 3, add get component rigid body before the semicolon. Yeah, no, I was going to say get component is what I was thinking. But on line 3, get component rigid body. Yeah, I'm going to say that one. Okay, which of the following statements about fictions methods are correct? Functions slash methods. Wow, I don't know the difference between the two. Okay, functions slash methods must be passed at least one parameter. Functions and methods with a void return type cannot be passed parameters. With an int return type could include the code, return F5. If there is a function method declare as private void rename game object, you could call that method with rename object. Function methods must be passed at least one per parameter. I'm just gonna, okay, so A and B are correct. Only B is correct. B and C are correct. Only D is correct. None are correct. So I'm going to say that B is correct, and it's going to be either A and B, or it's going to be B and C. I'm going to go A and B. I'm just guessing here. I have no idea. I'm going to say I got 8 out of 10. Yeah, I passed. Ooh, I got 5. I did really bad. Since the method has an int return type, private int generate random age, it must return an integer. Wow. Man, I did really bad on this one. I am shocked. So I got right on this one. Okay, the code below. Okay, changing the vector 3 to a float would work because you would just be multiplying a flat by another float. Changing equal to a plus would not work because you can't add a float to a vector 3. Okay, so just changing that to a float would have been better. Okay, I can see that. This one I got right. Well, at least some of the ones that I was super confident are that I got right. I got right. Okay, what is this? Your answer assigned. You most likely forgot to assign that variable by dragging an object onto it into the inspector. What? If the console says variables are not assigned, you most likely forgot to assign that variable by dragging on object onto it in the inspector. I knew you had to drag something onto something. I think that was my dyslexia coming in. I still don't really understand the answer to that. Okay, you were trying to create new methods. Okay, so what's the answer to this one? Since it needs to return a value, it should have a return type of public float as opposed to a private void. Since it needs to take a number, it needs a float parameter. Float number. Oh, okay. So this was the answer right here. Was B, right? Yeah. So it was a private float, not a private void. That one was my bad. Okay, I got this one right. Got this one right. Which one was this one? Yeah, get component. And then this one I had no idea. It says A is incorrect, but everything else is correct. Like, I don't get it. What's the answer? You're not telling me the answer for this one. Well, whatever. Whatever, I passed with not flying colors at all. That was bad. That was pretty bad. I don't know. What is it? Trial and error kind of guy. Be like, let's try it this way. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, let's go back. Let's try it that way. As I was doing today, there's a lot of trial and error, and yeah, a lot of trial and error. Yeah, if we go and we look at what I did today, let me just what I did today. So, if you see this spawn manager script, I had 3 different spawn managers that were set up because I was trying to make a difference. And if you can see, I have actually 3 different codes with it. And then with this code right here, I ended up combining all 3 codes, and I had to change all of it because I didn't want to change all the numbers. kind of thing. So if you see, I have game object, I have DL, which stands for diagonal. I have DN, which stands for downward, and then I have L, which stands for left, because I have three different objects going in three different directions. They keep all the same this because the Z axis is the only thing that they all share, while the ones for the ones that are going down, they have a set Y range, no X range. No, they have a set Y range. And so what I do, that's the distance from when they're going to come down, and then I could just add whatever X that I want to make it fit the screen. And then when they're coming from the right side going to the left, they're so right side going to the left. I have the X-axis is set, so they have YN, just the Y to go on, and then when I go to the diagonal, both the X and the Y are already set. So this doesn't actually need to change because they're all different for all of them. And then it's nice having the same spawn range Z, and then I have the same distance control for all of them. And then the potato count, and this I didn't need to add, but then I needed to add all these wave numbers. So then I'm just going to look through all this stuff that I had to go through. So basically, the potato count has to equal 0, and the distraction count has to equal 0. And I have to click on the mouse button, the left click button, and then all this stuff will happen. I don't really know how to explain it too much. So you got like the wave number plus it being random from 0 to 2. So this actually changes the how many things get spawned as you go along. And then I did for the distraction, I just made it so that they get one new thing gets spawned every time they go along. So you'll get 3 new distractions every time. So it goes 3, 6, 9, because each one has 1. I want the distractions to get constantly increased, to get harder. While this one, there's a chance that you'll have no balls show up on going on the diagonal. Yeah. But then you have a 1, you have a 0 or a 1, because you will have to go 1 plus whatever is the maximum. So they only add 1 spawn potato, which I have 2 for the diagonal, I have 3 for the going down, and then I have 4 for the going left. Right here, so it creates all that. So it creates 4, 2, and 3. And then there's a random number where it's going to either do 4 again, or it's going to do 8. It's going to add a 4. And this one's going to do 2. Going down is going to do 3, or add a 3. Or this diagonal is going to have 2 or add a 2. So then that's where you get the random numbers for how many potatoes are going. You don't know how much. It's going to be different every time. And so the first round you have like a minimum 9. Yeah, right? 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 4 is 9. Yeah, so you have a minimum of 9 potatoes coming. And then the next round, they could all be just 0 random ranges when you click. Yeah, when you click up here, they could all be 0. And as you see, these are the set ranges for these different positions. And then all the distractions, they only create 1. And then I just had it easy where they just create 1 each time as they increase. Yeah. So I written all this code today. Man, it was. Hope you guys understand it. Yeah, and so basically all of this creates this. So I click because there's no balls or anything, and it goes. And if I go to the spawn manager, it says we have 12 that spawn. So one of them decided to do a double. So because the minimum is 9, and then 9 and it's 3, so the up and down probably had an extra double. And then we go again. It's 12 again. So this time they actually had all of them went 0. And then this one continues to get more and more. The distractions. So I'm going to make the distractions look kind of like a potato. I can't click because it happened, and then I'm going to click, and then now I have 15. So it's slowly going up. So the up and down added another one. So it kind of messes with people. So it's a different thing every time. So they have no idea what they're going to get. And they're going to have it once all of them are disappeared. You have a sign that's going how many how many potatoes went by, or however many. Put in the right number. You click and it's correct. You go boom. If it's not correct, you get an ad and I get paid money. And this time it went 22. So it went from what, 12? Was it 12 to 22? Or was it 15? 15 to 22. Like it just jumped up like crazy. And then the next one might be able to jump a little bit crazy too. Oh, 25. So the down again went 1. So I feel like that's a good pace. And as you see, there's more distractions each time coming. They'll constantly get more and more and more. And I could probably go right now and change the size of the distractions to 2. And see how that goes for now. Yeah, so once I get the code all done for having the sign, having the game over, if you get it wrong, having it all set up if you get it right. Spawn manager, 16 showed up this time when I first started. Okay, I like that better. They're a little bit bigger. Kind of distract, going in and out. I'm going to try to make them rotate as well. But after I get the pictures, this one is 18, so only 2 added. Yeah, and then it just keeps going on and on and on, and we'll see how big the numbers can go. And so how I learned how to do this is this potato thing is what the code is assigned to. So this code, where is it? Yeah, so you find the object types potato and then distract. So this potato and distraction are literally, there's no code written in them. They just need to be there so that I could get that code and interact with the game object. And so all of them are, all the potatoes have a potato and all the distractions have a distraction. Look, 29 this time, 15. Yeah, and so it goes behind some of the stuff. Yeah, and so I'm going to have to edit all those things to be a different one. I had to edit the this corner stuff. They're all getting deleted once they got to this certain area, and I didn't want to have the thing all the way out here because it was just taking forever for them to get there. So then the game would kind of start to be like the next one, and so I had to write code for destroying objects that it will destroy in this like little line right around here, so that those things can come in and not get destroyed, and I don't have to wait so long. And then I was trying to bring it in a little bit closer, but then I was just like, yeah, you know what, it's fine. It's fine. It's my first game. Give me a break. My wife is happy with it. Yeah, how many is it? 40. See, you get up to here, I don't think people are going to be catching all that. Okay, let's do one more. Let's see if we could actually count what we have. We have 50. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, no, I'm lost. I can't even do this. I'm done. Who needs to up the speed? There's no point. And then you could see who can be the first person to get like to 100. I should make like a special like, I don't know, maybe like a high score thing to see how many people can. Oh, that's just going too much. How high people can go. But how should I reward the people? Yeah, leave in the comments. But yeah, no. So that's it for today. I'm going to try again another day. I think maybe Monday to work on this more. I'm kind of happy with what I've created, and these are all different levels too, right? So it's not like, yeah, it just goes on and on and on. You know that song? What is it, 70? Right? Could someone do 70 with like 36 game objects that are in their way? Like, look, some of them are hiding right in between. You can't even tell. Yeah, I'll definitely have to make them rotating so that you can find the ones that like maybe like a glance, right? Because there's one hiding right behind there. You see? They start to hide behind each other. Okay, let's do one more and then we'll call it. We'll call it quits. I'm having fun. Just pressing the thing. I think the reason why I'm having so much fun is because like I'm like I actually created this. This is actually really cool. I didn't have any. Well, I did kind of have help. I learned from that guy, and I tried to learn this stuff together. And just trial and error. I had forever. One of the things that was super difficult for me was finding this one because when I was learning it, it was like a wave number and it was plus plus, and it was like what that does. The plus plus means it's wave number equals wave number plus one, and so I was just like, oh, okay. So I was because I was trying to go into here, into the wave number here, and do random range in here, and I was just like, the code says that it works. There's no error, and then I go and I press play, but nothing works. Like it just doesn't. It just doesn't go together. And then I tried putting it, the wave number into here, but then it would save and build up onto each other. It would just start fresh again, and that's not what I wanted to do. So finally, I figured that out. So that was super exciting. I put it right in there. It was just trial and error. I was putting it everywhere. I even tried putting it into here, trying to figure out what this stuff was. So this is supposed to be I plus plus as well. I could probably change it to I plus plus to clean it up. But I did that because I was like, okay, let's see what this actually does. And so what this one does that I found is it does the intervals. So it won't increase a number for however many turns. So this is a 1, so this means that the first one, let's say I have one object and it increases every time. So if this is a 1, I have one object, I click, now I have 2. I click, now I have 3. I click, now I have 4. But if I change this into a 2, then I'll go and I'll have one object, and then I'll click and I'll have another one object. So that I did it twice. And then I click again, I'll have two objects. And then I'll click it again, and then I'll have two objects. And then I'll click it again, and then I'll have three objects. And I click again, it has three objects. So that's where the thing, if I did it a 3, then it would be like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, like that. If I have 5, it would be like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, I don't know. Like, yeah, you get the point. So this, I still don't understand what it is. This is to actually spawn um, the number of this. So basically, if I had a number here, it would just spawn that number. But I've set this so that this number is increasing all the time. And so as this number increases throughout the levels, this number also increases. And you create 2 each time. So that's how that one worked. And then I was thinking about doing like a time frame because there was just like one instantiate. You just do one, and I'm like, I want more than one. And I'm just like, how am I going to do this? Maybe I'll put like a wait for me kind of, or wait, was it wait for time or something, kind of thing, and have like to do multiples of it. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Let's just create a whole whack load of balls all in one go, and just drag out the thing, right? So that it's a big range. And so this one is a random range, so it'll spawn randomly between whatever I put. I believe I put this one to be like, this was the going down. I put it as I think 35. So it's minus 35 and then plus 35, and it spawns randomly in between there. And this one, I put a 2, so it's plus 2, minus 2, and it spawns randomly in between there. I don't need a Y because it's a fixed position. I can't just put one number and then have it go in both ends. It doesn't work that way. So I needed to have it at a fixed position. Yeah, and so that's what I decided to do, and then I changed it to be like, I was thinking, do I want 5? I noticed I was doing this one first, and at 5, it was like 5, 5, 5, 5, and I don't know, it just kept going by 5. So I just felt like 5 going up by 5 is too easy of a number, and then I wanted to change these ones as well. I decided to do one less for the up and down motion, because I'm going to do the side as well. So the side has 2. So that's coming more from an upward angle and coming down. And so I kind of figured with both of them together, that's a good number. So you have 3 different things, variables, so it can increase a minimum of 0. So if all of them are 0, it goes 0, or it can increase a minimum of 2, or not a minimum, or it can increase 2, it can increase 3, it can increase 4, it can increase both of these to be 5, it can go top and bottom, it could go 6, it could go 7, or it can do 9. So it can't go 8 and it can't go 1. So, trick for you guys who play this game: don't guess 1 or 8 more than the last one. It's going to be anywhere in between 0 and 9, excluding 1 and 8. And do I want to change it so you have every single one of them? Absolutely not. I'm happy with whatever random numbers I got for this one. I could play with it a little bit more, but just looking at how it grows, I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm happy with the distraction just going by 6. You don't see it. You don't notice that it's going by 3 every time. You just go like, oh, there's a distraction. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow with Unit 5 here. Let me talk about. Okay, so an introductory video for Unit 5 where you will learn to implement a user interface. Oh, it's an introduction video. I'll watch it by myself. But user interface. So let's just listen to what the guy says. It's 2 minutes.
Up to this point, with all of our prototypes, when you clicked run, you would just get thrown right into the gameplay. No hello, no how are you, just right to business. Then during runtime, we've never tracked score, lives, or progress, so there was no real way for the player to tell how they were doing. And finally, when the game was over, the only way to restart the game was to stop the project and rerun it. Well, in this unit, things are going to be different, because we are going to create a prototype that opens with a beautiful title screen where the player can choose the difficulty. Then
nice.
During the game, the player's score will be tracked and displayed, and at the end there will be a game over screen where the player will be able to restart without rebooting the entire application. That right there is a 5-star user experience. All of those elements you just saw, the title screen, menu buttons, score display, and game over screen, fall into the all-important mission-critical category of user interface, or UI for short. The UI includes any text, buttons, or display that the user can read or interact with during their experience, and that is going to be the focus of this unit. As you saw, having a UI in your project makes it look a lot more professional. But it also allows your project to be fully playable. A fully playable game is one that the user can experience seamlessly from end to end without any game-breaking bugs or missing features. Having a UI will finally allow for that. It is the missing piece that will tie together everything you've learned up to this point. So without further ado, let's start creating.
Pretty interesting. I'm actually looking forward to that. That's exactly what I was talking about that we needed to learn. Yeah, so basically after I finish this and I do all the user interface stuff, I can get my game out pretty quickly. So let's see how many there's. Sweet. So I got Unit 5, I got 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4. So by the end of this week, I should have all of that done with you guys. That's exciting. And then, boom, I can implement that right away, do the user interface, and then I'm going to have to learn how to change all of these things for animation and change for sound, put some music. Maybe I'll use my beautiful voice to serenade you guys while you guys try to count potatoes. Yeah, so yeah, on that note, I'll leave you with this. My wife said I have an amazing choir voice because it just blends without in the crowd and you can't hear me. So my point is, I will not be singing for you guys. I am sorry. Maybe if I get enough viewership and enough people that want to, I will create a game with me singing. If you guys want to just destroy your eardrums. Okay. So until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow again at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys have a great one.